It's great. This is so awesome. First, a moment to express gratitude for this being the perfect gathering of the perfect people that are supposed to be here in this perfect moment. And gratitude to you all for participating in my dream. So today I had this thought, they say be careful what you wish for because you just might get it, right? And I got to thinking about that and I thought, wow, there's really some truth to that because I was whining and complaining and moaning and just fussing for about the last 3 years about the fact that I couldn't seem to get a gig in radio in this town. Well, now I've worked literally about 40 hours and 3 days in radio this last week, and it was crazy. But I wasn't specific, I think we sort of feel our way through life. We say, I want this. And so we see that manifest. And then once we get this, we say, well, I'll make an adjustment. But still grateful for where we are in that moment. So this is part of my dream. And I know you'll listen to the words I have to say because I feel your consciousness deeper every day with you. I do not feel afraid. In fact, I think I'll fly today without asking if that's okay. See, old habits are more than hard to break. And I have regrets about mistakes for people injured in my wake. And sometimes when I'm up real late, I cry and love and contemplate and wonder if I died today, if my body were to leave this place, would one who looked upon my face know the gift of seeing grace? This earth is such a shaky place. These bodies all turn to decay. Temporary is our stay, and we're all dying anyway, so why not make it count today? See, I've always loved to be in pain, but now I see the little game. It's fun to watch the ego play, to scramble for another day before it all just falls away. Do you believe me when I say I left my body just today? Or do you start to get afraid and label me a crazy maid? Who am I sit and ask. Am I the girl who loves to bask for hours on end in masculine attention? Well, if I can see her, it must be that I am something more than she who sits and asks these never-ending questions. Consciousness chose me to be so that it could see through me the wicked joy, the dark beauty, the dancing on the edge. I see the moment of awakening, the young winter, the aged spring. Yes, I said aged. Don't be jaded. I remember once you stated that you hated one who loves to be elated, one inspired by living's inspiration. My heart was crushed beyond consolation. So I resigned myself to be a lonely artist, to take my place among the dearly departed, misunderstood by my kin, keeping sunlight out, not in, dipping my spoon once again into the Ben and Jerry's. We laugh, but it is scary to think of our addictions. And I'll offer this prediction. Unless we make a drastic change in the way we choose to eat, see food as fuel, not just a treat, until we choose to look inside and see the feelings eating hides and get swept under by the tide of giving up and living life and choosing not to be a slave like those who suffered in the sugar trade. Slavery still goes on today. If we don't see it, we're enslaved. If we don't rise up against self-destruction, initiate a massive reconstruction, learn to practice more self-care. Stop the self-inflicted biochemical warfare, then one day we will find ourselves flipping through the pages of an antique book and it will read about our time. The people wouldn't look at the history they couldn't stop repeating. Rome had fallen. Empires are fleeting. Change can start with the way we're eating. How much are y'all up for a little bit more? Split-second discovery. Watching a squirrel go down to the creek, I closed my eyes so I could see the rocks beneath my furry feet. I fell away and was the beast, and then came the epiphany. Whether I'm a squirrel or a middle-aged girl, I'm the same at the source. I love this course of study in the human experience, and I disagree that ignorance is bliss. I think the one who said those words meant something more like this. Ignorance is easy. There's very little resistance. In fact, it is encouraged at our culture's insistence. People unaware are easy to manipulate. Power is found in the moments when we contemplate. Some will call me a hypocrite. They'll say, this woman is unfit to talk on the subject of spirituality. But they'd be wrong, because in reality, labels are our favorite malady. Who are you? Are you what you do? Is making money your profound truth? See, we all have trouble seeing through the snow. It gets between us and the we want to know. In the end, we see it all just like a TV show. Friends and family start to go, and our pace without effort starts to slow, and something deep inside us knows we'll soon be dust to the wind that blows. So why not just relax and know what wisdom has to tell us? Our egos will fail us and often derail us, all the while leading us home to the center of ourselves, where just awareness dwells, and we drop the ego veil, give our spirits room to sail in waters that will shake our big assumptions, so we can progress and move forward for the young ones. If consciousness is light, the more conscious a being, the more radiant their light, which illuminates the gap between the higher vibration planes and the vortex of the mundane, living the insane lifestyle the masses choose to call normal. It feels like a horrible nightmare, only I'm awake, and even the asylum has been overtaken, and the doctors are even mistaken about what to prioritize, refusing to recognize the wisdom they compromise each morning, opening their eyes. So they go to work to guide the people into a church with a burning steeple, singing hymns while the stained glass melts, and the preacher has added a notch to his belt because hookers are easier to avoid than pie. And still, he tells the sheep that they must die to their evil ways. But first, after church, there's a potluck buffet. And the teenagers are all afraid of going to hell because sexual awakening makes their pink parts swell in the co-ed Sunday morning class, still thinking about the luscious ass of the biker boy who wants to pop her cherry. But she does it because hell is scary, which is where you go having sex unmarried. At least that's what the preacher said. Well, what about sex alone in bed? I guess that's really risque to do in a church. I always forget until I get... It's been a long time since I've done that one. So. Thank you. You're a beautiful audience. A quick song, and then I'll be on my way. And I'll just do it a cappella. When I hear talk of wars to fight, it's right or wrong, black or white, but I've been contemplating shades of gray. When I see soldiers in our streets protecting me with M16s, I ask myself how long the guns will stay. And it would be so easy for us all to stay asleep, to take it at face value, not ask what lies beneath. Is war the only real solution? Let's accelerate our evolution, turn an old idea into a new one. Don't you think it's time for a revolution? It's hard to know what's really real when the news has an entertainment feel, and high alerts mean higher ratings too. We all have an inner war. It's a battle we just can't ignore. America, the world is watching you. And it would be so easy for us all to stay asleep, to take it at face value, not ask what lies beneath. Is war the only real solution? Let's accelerate our evolution, turn an old idea into a new one. Don't you think it's time for a revolution? I heard a man on the radio said now the government wants to know what books I buy so they can track me down. Well, I guess by now Big Brother knows I bought a copy of The Emperor Wears No Clothes, Let Freedom Ring. That's my favorite sound. And it would be so easy for us all to stay asleep, to take it at face value, not ask what lies beneath. Is war the only real solution? Let's accelerate our evolution, turn an old